everyone. Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for November the 8th, 2021. It's actually NoDQ.com's 23-year anniversary. November 8th, 1998 was when the first day of the site was official as WWFWCW.com all the way to NoDQ.com today. So thank you guys for those of you that have been around since the old days through the Mayhem.com and all the way to NoDQ now. I very much appreciate your continued viewership and support. And if you're new, welcome to the party. Let's go ahead and get started with this recap. Shout out to the chat room viewers. I appreciate your contributions throughout the video stream. We kicked off Raw with what else but a recap from last week. All the stuff going on with Kevin Owens and Big E. We had Big E and Owens talking backstage. Kevin Owens was trying to make it clear to Big E that he's not the guy he used to be. And Big E basically blew him off. Big E said he has a match. He doesn't care. Seth Rollins came down to the ring to cut a promo, and he was wearing this very over-the-top blue outfit. People were chanting, "You look stupid," at him. And he said that people in Louisville, Kentucky, they're morons. They would not know anything about fashion. Then he asked, who is Kevin Owens? He said that Kevin Owens is a guy that he got into the business with, and Kevin Owens is a guy that would stab you in the back at any opportunity he had. He said you can ask Sami Zayn, you could ask Kofi Kingston. Bottom line, KO is a liar. We had Owens run down to the ring to get his hands on Seth Rollins. Rollins ran. Owens momentarily caught him, but then Rollins managed to escape. And that was the end of our first segment. It was okay. Not great or anything, but I guess they got a storyline going on with Kevin Owens. At least there's something, right? This idea that Kevin Owens is being accused of just stabbing everybody in the back and he's trying to do the right thing. It's something. I'll give him that. We had Randy Orton and Matt Riddle backstage, the tag team champions, and Riddle suggested that they work together to take down Omos. They could be a brobot, and Orton was not really up for that. He feels like they should focus on tag teams and not Omos. They should not pick fights with giants. And he said they should not concern themselves with the Street Profits. But the Street Profits were standing right behind Orton. And these four guys were going to be in an 8-man tag team match. Riddle had a little funny line saying that the Street Profits know that he wants the smoke. We then had our 8-man tag team match. These four guys, RK Bro, Street Profits, up against Rudolph, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Roode, along with Omos and the returning AJ Styles. AJ Styles back from his 2-week hiatus, whatever that was. And this was a pretty long match. And the heels were not getting along. They were doing well at first, but then Styles and Roode were not getting along. Orton got a hot tag, threw Styles over the top rope, but Omos caught Styles, and then Omos got into the match, dominated for a while. But then after Omos tagged out, the good guys regained the upper hand. And Omos had to get back into the ring to once again take control of the situation. Riddle tagged in, wanted a piece of Omos. Orton advised Omos to not go, or Riddle got into the ring. Orton advised Riddle to not go after Omos, but Omos and Riddle went at it, and Riddle got laid out. Omos took him down with the tree slam, and then we had some more arguing between the heels. Styles wanted to tag in. Ziggler ended up getting in the ring. Rude and Styles were having some words. Omos went after Rude, threw him into the barricade, and Riddle this entire time was just laid out from the tree slam. Ziggler got into the ring and pinned Riddle. And then Orton came in, hit an RKO to Ziggler. Poor Riddle, he was just pretty much dead from that tree slam, and Ziggler pinned him, so whatever. Heels could not coexist, but they still won the match anyways. The ending was pretty strange. Match was okay, I guess. Troy says, Raw was so bad I fell asleep. Ouch. Well, can't really say I blame you on that one. We had Kevin Owens backstage talking to Rey Mysterio, wanting to know if Rey believed him. Rey could not really answer because his music hit. He had to go to the ring. He had an important meeting with WWE official Adam Pearce. Rey and Dominic went down to the ring, and Pearce talked about the illustrious history of Survivor Series, all the debuts like The Undertaker, The Shield, brought up all the Raw versus SmackDown matches that mean absolutely nothing. And Pearce said that he felt he made a mistake by putting Dominic Mysterio in the match because, well, Dominic is not a former WWE champion. Everybody else in the match is a former WWE champion, except for Dominic Mysterio. And Adam Pearce, he wants Team Raw to win. Even though last time I checked, Adam Pearce was just an official for both brands. So I have no idea why Pearce wants Raw to win, why it matters, why this conversation is even happening. There's nothing on the line, so what's the deal here? Anyways, Pearce said that Dominic can keep his spot if Dominic won this upcoming match. And Dominic's opponent turned out to be the returning Bobby Lashley, fresh off of his loss to Bill Goldberg at Crown Jewel. And it was pretty much what you would expect it to be. MVP was back, by the way. MVP had surgery. He's back now. Dominic tried to use his speed, but to no avail. Lashley beat the crap out of him, threw him into the post. You had Adam Pearce watching backstage sideways, as everybody typically does on WWE television. And Lashley put on the Hurt Lock, but refused to let Dominic tap out. So the match continued, and Lashley continued to beat up Dominic. And Rey tried to help at one point, but he got taken down. Dominic was sent into the post again, and then Lashley put on the Hurt Lock, and Dominic tapped out. So Lashley now is in the Survivor Series match. And by the way, they announced all the participants on Twitter, whatever. And Lashley's part of the match. Dominic's out, and yeah. Backstage, we had Seth Rollins meeting up with Chad Gable and Otis. And Gable was ripping into Owens, saying Owens is an enormous liar. Big E doesn't have what it takes to be the new face of Raw. We then had a match between Big E, the WWE champion, and Chad Gable. Match was pretty good. Big E did the big splash on the apron and was yelling at somebody to check on Gable's sternum. Gable did recover, got a few near falls on Big E, the champ, went after the knee for a while, did a moonsault. Big E kicked out of that. Gable got another near fall, but then Big E made his comeback, picked up the win with the big ending over a fairly game Chad Gable. It was a good match. And backstage, we had R-Truth talking to KO, and R-Truth said he does believe KO, but he also believes in Bigfoot, believes in the Loch Ness Monster. Good old JM Jeff Meacham just sent in a $5 super chat. Says, can't stay in the chat. Just wanted to remind everyone to stay tuned after my stream to check out Talk Wrestling. So make sure you guys check that out. He said, hashtag RIP Judy Bagwell. And I agree on that. Very sad to hear about the death of Judy Bagwell, Buff Bagwell's mother. She was part of WCW. She appeared on TV. And she was even a former WCW champion, tag team champions with Rick Steiner, believe it or not. And of course, the infamous Judy Bagwell on a pole match. Mike B with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Mike B. Says, congratulations to Aaron and Caitlin on their wedding. Hope you two have a lifetime of happiness together. Well, thank you very much for that, Mike B. I very much appreciate that, the kind words from you. We had Sonya Deville backstage. Her and Adam Pearce were there with the women's locker room. The women's Survivor Series participants were going to be in a 5-way match to see who will get a future title opportunity against Becky Lynch, the champ. Doudrop was mad about not being included in the title opportunity. She said Bianca Belair lost her shot. She crashed and burned. Dana Brooke was upset too, saying she's been overlooked more than anyone else. Nikki Cross was saying that, she's actually a former Raw Women's Champion and she's not even in the contention. We had a video package highlighting WrestleMania 32. WrestleMania tickets go on sale this Friday, and man, are they really going to be able to sell 50, 60, 70,000 tickets for this thing? That just seems like a tough task right now. The Rock has pretty much said he's not going to be at WrestleMania. Rock shot it down in an interview. That's up on NoDQ.com if you missed it. I guess Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again. But yeah, they had Steve Austin in these commercials, I guess, to try and get people hyped up for WrestleMania. But I'm not sure. We'll see how they do with ticket sales. But I could not think of a colder show than this one right before tickets go on sale for WrestleMania. Just saying. We'll see if Steve Austin can move those tickets. We had a recap of what happened earlier with Bobby Lashley beating up Dominic. Rey Mysterio was backstage. He's pissed off at Adam Pearce. Austin Theory showed up and took a little selfie when Rey Mysterio's back was turned. We then had a 24/7 title match, an official match in the ring. Reggie versus Drake Maverick. And Reggie was doing all of his flips. R-Truth ran down to try and interfere, but he got attacked by the Hurt Business for whatever reason. And Drake Maverick rolled up, fruit roll up, pinned Reggie to win the match. And we have a new 24/7 champion, Drake Maverick. But then Tozawa immediately rolled up. Drake Maverick won the title. Corey Graves rolled up. Tozawa won the title. Byron Saxton rolled up. Corey Graves won the title. And then Drake Maverick with the tights rolled up Byron Saxton to win the title. And then Reggie rolled up Drake Maverick to win back the title. Back to where it all started. This is a rerun. We've seen it many times before. I personally think it's boring. If this was the first time they ever did it, I would have said, yeah, this is kind of entertaining, but it's the same song and dance we've seen over and over and over again for 2.5 years now. And really, the 24/7 title was just a knockoff of the hardcore title. So something that we saw 21 years ago, and then we started seeing it again 2 years ago, and it's just boring. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, the No DQ Super Chat Championship is greater than the 24/7 title, and it's not even close. Well, thank you. And I knew when to let it go and retire that championship before it got too over the top and ran its course. But thank you for that, Mike B. I appreciate it. We had Becky Lynch coming down for commentary for the 5-way women's match. Another long match here. Bianca Belair versus Carmella versus Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. They did their little pre-match promo. All of them took turns cutting a little promo. Becky Lynch was saying that maybe one day Rhea Ripley will be a top star when she retires. And hopefully Rhea doesn't get released before she becomes a top star. And no, Caleb, Corey Graves not cleared. You know, it was just a gag. You know, he can be rolled up, not taking a bump or anything. You know, it's just a little roll up. It was a gag. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat says, if Dewdrop's going heel, change her name, please. I agree with you 100% on that, Walter. I wish they would drop the name if she's going to be a heel now. But here's the thing about Dewdrop, and we'll get to that in a minute here. You had Bianca getting distracted by Becky Lynch. Zelina and Carmella went after her. Zelina and Carmella were working together for a while. And then Carmella hit Zelina by mistake. Bianca got hit with the Riptide. Liv Morgan broke that up. Liv hit the Oblivion to Rhea Ripley, but Zelina broke that up. And then Bianca came in, hit the KOD, and was about to win the match, but that's when Dewdrop pulled Bianca Belair to the outside, threw her into the ring post, effectively turning heel, even though she kind of makes a good argument. Why didn't she get in the match? As far as I'm concerned, she's just showing a little bit of ruthless aggression after Bianca was all cocky and arrogant in front of her. So I kind of side with Dewdrop on this one. Like, she should have been in the match. Bianca had her chances. It's time for some other people to get opportunities. I sympathize with Dewdrop. But yeah, this was supposed to be a heel turn. Anyways, well, this was going on back in the ring. Liv Morgan with a crucifix pin defeated Carmella. Liv Morgan gets her opportunity. People are happy about that at least. Liv Morgan can now go on to lose to Becky Lynch at some point. Probably not Survivor Series because it is official. It is Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. You know, we got about a week and a half until Survivor Series. Well, not quite, yeah. Almost 2 weeks. Survivor Series coming up very soon. They did announce, as we expected it would be, SmackDown Women's Champion versus Raw Women's Champion. And also Roman Reigns versus Big E, Universal Champion versus WWE Champion. But as Walter says, happy for Liv. Maybe she gets a title match. You know, it's kind of like with Cesaro. Cesaro got his match with Roman Reigns and then back to the mid-card. Probably the same thing with Liv Morgan. But hey, she got her shot. There you go. We had Seth Rollins talking to Big E backstage, saying that it's better to trust the devil he knows as opposed to the devil he doesn't know, which of course is a line that Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon were, actually it was Vince that used it, trying to convince The Rock to stay with Team WWE instead of Team Alliance. And Big E was just like, he's going to be at ringside to make sure everything goes smoothly. Okay, Big E, you damn well know that if you want the match to go smoothly, stay backstage. You go to ringside. That's how things do not go smoothly. Damn it, Big E, you should know by now. You're there every single week. You should know better. Anyways, Big E came down to ringside, and already things did not go very smoothly because Austin Theory showed up and wanted a selfie with Big E, and Big E just smacked the phone out of his hand, and Austin Theory was very upset, grabbed his phone, and disappeared. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat says, if you're pushing Liv should have won with her finisher, not a crucifix pin. It makes her look lucky as opposed to deserving, but I'm happy for her. again, I'm with you on that, Walter. They did the crucifix pin, I guess, to protect Carmella for whatever reason. But what you said makes sense there. You should have Liv win decisively if you want her to be seen as a credible challenger. We had Seth Rollins come down to the ring, and man, they were really dragging out these segments. And the reason, at least this week, they had an excuse. A lot of times it's just they try to fill up 3 hours and don't really know what to do. But this week, we did have a UK tour, which is still ongoing, and several Raw people are in the United Kingdom as we speak doing the tour, and that's why people like Finn Balor, Damian Priest, why they were not on Raw this week. So they had to stretch out these segments even more so than usual. Seth Rollins is coming down here like a 10:15 Eastern. And Rollins is cutting a promo saying that he has a confession to make. Him and Kevin Owens made a plan. They were conspiring to take out Big E. He's coming clean about it. He's a man of integrity. Owens stormed to the ring very pissed off. We had a commercial break, and then when we came back, we had our match. Actually, before we had the match, we had another Survivor Series video. They were using the Montreal Screwjob to try and hype up this Survivor Series pay-per-view. Montreal Screwjob, one of the most controversial segments. Maybe we'll see something like that this year. Probably not, but hey, I guess they got to come up with something to get people interested in this pay-per-view. So we had the match, a very long match here, main event, which was a good match, but not a great crowd. Like, they did kind of do "This is awesome," but it was a very weak "This is awesome" chant, not very enthusiastic. But the match was pretty solid. Owens got driven into the table on the outside, so Seth Rollins took advantage of that. Went after the ribs. Owens kept fighting. Fight Owens fight. They traded some slaps. Rollins went for a frog splash, but he missed. And then Owens did a frog splash. He hit it, but Owens was unable to put away Rollins. Owens also hit a super fisherman suplex. Rollins was able to continue in the fight. Rollins hit a pedigree, but could not make the cover right away. Owens came in with a pop-up powerbomb. Rollins kicked out of that. And then we had the shenanigans. You know it. As soon as Kevin Owens gets knocked to the outside of the ring and Big E's sitting out there, you just know this is the finish. This is some kind of screwy finish here involving Big E. So sure enough, they actually were kind of creative with it because normally, somebody gets knocked into Big E, but they both were going right towards Big E. Big E moved, and they both went into his chair, and then they were trying to beat the 10 count. Rollins got back in the ring. Owens was going to try to get back in the ring, but he was clumsy, and he bumped into Big E, which delayed him by a split second, and he got counted out. Referee couldn't have given him a pass on that one. But yeah, Owens gets counted out because he bumped into Big E and was unable to get back into the ring. He was a bumbling fool, and he got himself counted out. And Owens was very upset, got counted out. Rollins was far away, went back up to the stage. And then Owens snapped. Owens beat the shit out of Big E. Did the power bomb on the apron. He was screaming. He just completely lost his damn mind. And the ending was pretty good. Owens, I guess, officially turning heel now. Although, again, I kind of feel like I'm sympathizing with Kevin Owens. He was trying to do the right thing. Big E was being a dick to him. And pretty much everyone else was, too. Owens has actually been a face for a couple of years now. And didn't he prove himself to be a stand-up guy over the past year or two? Anyways, they're trying to play up on the past with Sami Zayn, but Sami's a heel, so who can blame him for turning against Sami? Sami's kind of a dick. But yeah, Kevin Owens is officially a heel again. And the ending was solid. But overall, I thought the show was kind of boring. Like the segments, as I said, they really dragged out the segments more so than usual because you had people in the UK that were not on Raw this week. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, everyone saw the heel turn coming from a mile away. KO starting to be like Big Show with the face heel turns. Pick one and stay. Well, if you believe the rumor mill that Kevin Owens is leaving soon, I guess maybe he's going to be a heel on the way out and put over Big E at the next pay-per-view. Whether it's, well, it's not TLC, it's the day one. So if Owens is still under contract, maybe he just puts over Big E on Raw. But maybe this is going to be Owens' last feud. Puts over Big E on his way out. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Raw was okay, but I was kind of bored with it, guys. And if I sounded bored during this, well, really wasn't that exciting of a show in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it a flat C. Show was okay, but didn't really do much for me. Was definitely not the worst show I've seen, but just felt like I could have very easily skipped this and not missed much. I mean, you did get the Owens heel turn, you got the Doudrop turn. So a few things happened on the show, but nothing that you couldn't watch on YouTube and you get the gist of it just watching the clips on YouTube. Axel sent in a very generous $10 super chat. Thank you, Axel. I appreciate it. Says, with Triple H possibly having to retire soon, who do you think his last match should be against? I have a few options. I'd like to see either Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, or Finn Balor. That's an interesting question. If he can wrestle again, and I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm not going to speculate on his health. But if he can come back and do one more match, and I could pick anybody for him to have a match with, I would be cool with seeing somebody like Finn Balor. I would like to see that. Randy Orton, given their history together, one more time, Randy Orton versus Triple H. I mean, it would be total nostalgia. What about Big E? Big E versus Triple H would be interesting. I mean, there's a couple of good options, I think, for Triple H. I'm torn. Like, on one hand, I like the idea of the nostalgia match, but on the other hand, I kind of like the idea of Triple H versus somebody new, you know, putting over the future of the company on the. But who's the future of the company at this point? You know, it's funny. I remember like a year ago, I was saying, you know, maybe Karrion Kross would be that guy. Well, that ain't happening. And then I was thinking, well, what about Keith Lee? That ain't happening. Maybe Braun Breaker? But am I going to jinx Braun Breaker by saying Braun Breaker right now? Like, bookmark this video. I hope I'm not jinxing myself. Like, how about Triple H putting over Braun Breaker? And Braun Breaker is sealed as the future of the company. I just hope a year or two from now we look back at this and I screwed over Braun Breaker. I jinxed him. Let's see what you guys thought as far as the poll went. Really? 40% A? You guys serious? 31% B, 21% C, and 10% D. I am surprised by that. Are you guys trolling me or what? 39% A. Really? Let's see what you guys put as far as the letter grades. Maybe it's some of the lurkers that are putting an A. Mohammed with a C+, CC Drink with a B-, LaShawn Davis with a D-, Walter with a C, Mark Del Rio with a B, Matt Helms with a C+, and Mike B also gives it a C+. Kevin Gerhardt says the poll turned heel. Game is on 100 says a C as well. Elijah Jackson with an A. Over the Top Rope with an A++. So I guess some people liked Raw. What do I know? I mean, I did like the Owens heel turn. Even though I kind of sympathize with him Owens going crazy at the end was pretty cool. I mean, we need something. Now we want to tune in next week and see what happens. So that was okay. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate the viewership and support. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe you hated this video because you thought Raw was great and I gave it a C. But if you did enjoy the recap, feel free to click on that subscribe button. Tell a friend. I try to give the fairest reviews possible. Sometimes I give Raw a better grade. Sometimes I don't. It's all over the place. I got more content coming up this week. We got predictions for AEW Full Gear, and then of course recaps of Dynamite, No DQ review where we do a panel video, and then SmackDown on Fridays. Tune in for all that great stuff, and of course I'll be recapping Full Gear on Saturday night. NoDQ.com will have play-by-play coverage. Check that out this weekend. Watch Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham. Maybe Jeff liked it better than me. You'll have to watch and find out. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your week. And I will see you all next. Wait. Sun Hat sent in a $25 super chat. SAR says thanks for the review. Well, thank you, Sun Hat, for tuning in. I very much appreciate it and hope to see you next time. On that note, I'm out, guys. Take care. See you next time.